Mr. McLeod,
Contempt for what?
Mr. McLeod, two things are going to happen. You're going to answer my question, or you're going to jail for summary contempt for not complying with the court's request. Do you, Mr. McLeod, understand that the maximum penalty for the charge against you is 3 years in prison and or $1,000 fine?
I don't understand the charges.
Mr. McLeod is in contempt court taken into custody.
Really? That's it.
This hearing is chaotic from the very beginning. Mr. McLeod is facing charges for harming an officer, but he keeps insisting the court has no authority over him. He uses the usual sovereign citizen lines, interrupts constantly, and throws around made-up legal terms. Still, the judge shuts down every claim he makes. Things get more intense as it goes on, and eventually the judge has no choice but to order him to spend the night in custody. The whole situation is frustrating, but also strangely entertaining. Mr. McLeod is completely confident in arguments that have no basis.
You understand your right to a lawyer, including a court-appointed lawyer?
I understand that.
Okay. And do you wish to represent yourself instead of having an attorney?
Yeah, I'm here by special appearance, and I will be representing myself.
Okay. I'm required by law before I accept that waiver to do a couple things. One, advise you of the maximum penalties that you could face for the charges that you're in my court for. Resisting, obstructing conservation officers is a high court misdemeanor punishable by up to 2 years in prison and or $1,000 fine. There's a habitual offender second notice that's been filed by the prosecutor, which would make that a felony punishable by up to 3 years and or $1,000 fine. And marine safety operating while intoxicated is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days and or a $100 to $500 fine. Do you understand the maximum penalty for the charges against you?
Well, I don't even really understand why I'm here, honestly.
And the court ends up breaking down every false claim he tries to make. Let's jump right in. Watch how calm the judge stays through all of this. He genuinely tries to give Mr. McLeod a chance, even with all the interruptions and confusion. The patience this judge shows is impressive, especially when Mr. McLeod keeps pretending not to understand the most basic legal points.
Well, okay. Well, that's fine. Do you understand the maximum penalty that I just explained to you?
No.
Hold on. I can't let you represent yourself until I establish a couple things.
Well, I need to establish a couple things too, honestly.
Hold on. Well, I can't let you represent yourself until I establish a couple things, or I'm going to be in trouble.
Okay.
Do you understand that the maximum penalty that you could face for the charges that you're here for is up to 3 years in prison and or a $1,000 fine?
I don't understand the nature and cause of the action against me. So
what is it that you don't understand? Do you not understand how long 3 years is, or how much the fine is that I've articulated? Can you tell me what it is you don't understand?
The nature and cause of the action against me because we don't establish jurisdiction.
That's not what I'm asking you right now. Well, I'll let you place whatever objections you want on the record, Mr. McLeod. I promise you that. Okay. Can we just go one step at a time? So do you understand the maximum penalty that you could face if you're convicted as charged? 3 years in prison or $1,000 fine?
Well, I have another question because the statutory jurisdiction doesn't exist under the Constitution. So in order for me to defend myself, could you please tell me where the published rules of conduct are for criminal statutory jurisdiction, or where I can find the nature and cause of this jurisdiction, or how this information exists?
No, I don't even understand what you're asking.
So you're saying this is a statutory jurisdiction under what? The statutes of Michigan, correct?
Mr. McLeod, I've told you what my jurisdiction is.
General jurisdiction.
The people of the state of Michigan voted to convene a constitutional convention in 1961.
Sure.
There was a constitutional convention in 1961 and 1962. They proposed a state constitution. The voters of the state of Michigan ratified that in 1963. Article 6 establishes the judicial power. And the circuit court is a court under that judicial power of Article 6 of the state constitution. And so you're here in my court. I have subject matter jurisdiction over those crimes. I have personal jurisdiction over you because you've been alleged to have committed them in our county. That's my jurisdiction. So Mr. McLeod, you want to represent yourself? Do you understand the maximum penalty that you could face of 3 years in prison and or $1,000 fine?
One second.
I can see why his attorney withdrew. Oh, shit.
Hang on, someone in the prosecutor's office is not muted. I'm going to remove you from the meeting at this time.
Oh,
Prosecutor's office is generally allowed to attend to observe. They've participated. I'm removing them from the hearing.
Tell me in the comments. Do you think this man really believes what he's saying, or is he just trying to avoid taking responsibility? The reaction from the woman in the back wasn't wrong either. It was a completely unfiltered moment. And honestly, it's hard not to laugh. How does something like that even happen in a courtroom? Maybe she was older. Maybe she was caught up in the absurdity. Either way, it captured exactly what everyone in the room was thinking. And it makes perfect sense why his lawyer stepped away from the case. Mr. Mloud keeps flipping through a messy stack of papers, convinced he's found some secret rule that will magically help him. He looks like he genuinely believes he's about to outsmart the entire legal system, while the judge and prosecutor already know how this is going to end. You really have to wonder what sovereign citizen followers expect. Do they think the judge will suddenly say, "You're right, case dismissed"? Watching it feels like someone trying to play a game without knowing any of the rules. By the end, the prosecutor's comment feels like the perfect finishing touch. In her position, anyone would probably feel the same way. And what makes it even more unbelievable is how committed these people are to ideas that simply don't work legally. It's wild to watch. All right, let's continue. At this point, you can clearly see the judge has reached his limit. It's not even harsh. It's just the truth. Mr. Mloud keeps quoting things that don't exist.
Mr. McLeod, do you understand the maximum penalty that you could face?
1 second. Okay, so when enforcement of mere statutes, judges of all courts do not act judicially and are thus are not protected and qualified by limited immunity. That's Owen versus the city. I just want to state a few things for the record since you're claiming this is a jurisdiction under statutory law.
Hang on. Mr. McLeod, can we back it? Look at me for a second. Can we talk here?
I've challenged subject matter jurisdiction. Nothing can go forward until that's addressed. You're saying
I did address it and I denied your objection. I have subject matter
jurisdiction doesn't exist under the Constitution.
Your objection is noted. So, Mr. McLeod, do you understand? Let me explain to you.
Sure.
Sometimes, as I said, people might want to represent themselves, but let's say they have limited intellectual capacity and they don't understand what's going on.
And the judge calmly corrects him every time. This is one of those moments that reminds you who actually has the authority in a courtroom. Watching this man try to act like his own lawyer is honestly embarrassing. Instead of using his right to get a real attorney, which he could have for free, he chooses to struggle through a pile of meaningless papers and talk about things that have no legal weight whatsoever. The judge even tries to help him at first, speaking slowly and giving explanation.
To establish that they know what's going on before I can allow them to represent themselves. I'm required to establish, do you comprehend, do you know the maximum penalty that you could face if you're convicted as a result of this charge? 3 years in prison or $1,000 fine. Do you understand that, Mr. McLeod?
So I'd like to state for the record that
Mr. McLeod, stop.
the court can be.
Stop, Mr. McLeod. If you don't understand it, I'm going to revoke your right to represent yourself and have an attorney represent you because I can't establish that you know what you're doing. So do you know the maximum penalty that you would face?
Your Honor, I've challenged this court's jurisdiction. You haven't established it yet. You said you have a statutory jurisdiction which doesn't exist under the Constitution. I'm trying to figure out where I stand with this. So I can't answer any of your questions until you answer some of mine.
That's not how it works. Are you refusing to answer my question?
No, I'm
Then answer it. Do you understand the maximum penalty that you face for this charge?
So judges who become involved in enforcement of
Mr.
your
McLeod,
statutes.
I have other matters. Mr. McLeod,
Involved agency. What's that?
you know, I understand you want to object to things and you're going to be allowed to object to things. Okay.
Sure.
But we have to do things one step at a time. And I do have other cases today. I'm not going to entertain this for like a whole hour. I've got other cases going on. If you want to dig in your heels and just make this real complicated or real difficult, We could do that, and I can hold you in contempt, and you'll go back to a jail cell for a while.
No, Your
and then we'll
Honor,
do
I don't wish to be held in contempt. I just wish to exercise my Sixth Amendment right.
That's fine.
And
So before I can let you under,
I can
before I
cite
can,
laws, I can cite laws that will show you that the exercise of a right can be converted into a crime. I'm trying to understand the nature and cause of the action against me. You're not clarifying enough to where I can comprehend it, as you say.
you don't comprehend the maximum penalty that you would face.
I'm not answering any of those questions until you establish that this is a court of the Constitution, has jurisdiction under these jurisdictions.
I established it. I told you. You might think I'm wrong, and you can appeal
There's
it.
no
to the
such
Michigan
thing as
Court
a
of Appeals.
statutory jurisdiction.
Mr. McLeod, let me make this simple for you. Do you ever watch, let me make this simple for you.
Sure.
I'm going to ask you this question one more time. One more time.
Okay.
Two things are going to happen. You are either going to answer my question, or I'm going to hold you summarily in contempt, and the court officer will bring you to a jail cell, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. You understand that?
So
Mr. McLeod,
contempt for what?
Mr. McLeod, two things are going to happen. You're going to answer my question, or you're going to jail for summary contempt for not complying with the court's request. Do you, Mr. McLeod, understand that the maximum penalty for the charge against you is 3 years in prison and or $1,000 fine?
I don't understand the charges.
Mr. McLeod is in contempt of court, taken into custody.
Really? That's it. Protecting my rights is what so last time I said.
Fucking Joe.
This isn't true. You guys
You'll
are
have to follow
following
unconstitutional
You're following
orders.
unlawful orders. It's not
Not a
constitutional at
good
all.
thing.
Mr. McLeod's in contempt, he's sentenced to 1 day. Mr. McLeod, your sentence is 1 day in jail. We'll reconvene tomorrow and get you
This is about
notice.
the Constitution. I did nothing wrong except to question and exercise my rights.
But every judge has limits, and eventually he has to step in more firmly. What's really surprising is how confident Mr. McLeod looks while making things worse for himself. He acts like he's uncovered some secret legal trick, when in reality the situation is simple. He just needs to answer basic questions. And his charge, harming an officer, is serious. In many cases, it's treated as a felony that can lead to years in prison. Instead of dealing with the charge, negotiating, or presenting a real defense, he wastes the court's time and ends up spending extra time in custody. None of what he says applies to the real law, and even the judge points that out. The sad part is that he seems deeply convinced he's making progress, even though the court rejected these kinds of arguments decades ago. Courts must follow actual laws, not someone's personal interpretation of them. If he's convicted of felony, he could lose important rights like voting or legally owning certain items, and he's also facing the possibility of prison time. That wraps up my breakdown. Let me know in the comments what you think about Mr. McLeod. Do you think he truly believed this, or is he just putting on a show? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Take care.